Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We're proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ as the world's most popular LGBT streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ+ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched the show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community.
There's no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, February 3rd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designated for the LGBT community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Our magazine, events, television, news, talk, and entertainment show support to our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Reverend Robert Hadley. Robert is a health educator at Broward House and a deacon with Holy Angels National Catholic Church. He's an event manager and photographer for Hotspots. Robert is on the Wilton Manors Community Advisory Board and serves on the Parks and Recreational Board as well. Robert, so Holy Angels National Catholic Church is planning their Easter celebration. Tell me what's happening.
Well, thank you, Faye. Not just Easter, but whole weekend, Holy Week. We're starting with Monday, Thursday. We celebrate the beginning of the Eucharist, the Mass, special night Mass, and be removing and emotional. The Monday, Thursday will be just as touching. Good Friday, the death of Jesus, and the Risen Day, the special holiday, and the Sunday. Our Mass will be beautiful and emotional, and everyone's invited to Holy Angels National Catholic Church in Wilton Manors.
I love that. What time is service?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. That's a good time, right? Isn't that a good time? Like when people try to have like a service at 9 in the morning, it's like, don't you know us in Wilton Manors, right?
Yeah.
Like 11 a.m. is doable. And Easter's one of those days that you want to go to church, right? Like, you want to get all dolled up in your Easter best, put on your bonnet and head on over.
And also afterwards, brunch.
And afterwards is brunch.
And then people have different faith concerns. Just because it calls us a Catholic Church, we represent everybody. We have people who are pagans who come to church. We have Jewish people who come to church. It is open to everybody. Everyone's faith identity is welcome. We celebrate together because we are trying to represent love without judgment.
I love that. Thank you so much, Robert. You know how many times people go to a church and they see a sign that says all are welcomed, and then you walk in and it's not the case, right, at all. And with your Catholic Church, it's different. So that's fantastic. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Holy Angels Easter celebration on April 20th. Let's welcome my main man, Edward Otto Zielke. He has a successful career in financial marketing and serves as a director of marketing and sponsorship for the world famous Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Edward, GMCSF and West End Lounge that we love will be celebrating Shout Caberet on February 6th. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is bringing back Shout Cabaret on Thursday, February 6th. The event, of course, is going to be held at the wonderful West End Lounge with 2 shows at 6:30 and at 8:30. The VIP section is sold out, so we only have general admission right now, so those are $25. And the proceeds go, they help with scholarships for talented singers facing financial barriers. So you can go to our website at gmcsf.org for more details.
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun event. We've got about 15 soloists from the Gay Men's Chorus that are going to be performing, including a local drag queen that has that's performing as well. So,
who?
Well, you'll have
Surprise?
to come and find out because they're actually a chorus member too. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, so it's fantastic that we've got great representation there, and it's so wonderful to be back at the West End Lounge. Chris O'Neill, who is the owner of it, just does a wonderful job.
Oh, Chris is amazing, and he gives us such a safe, warm, amazing place to have events like this at. So this is Thursday, correct?
Yeah, it's Thursday,
What time?
February 6th, 6:30 and at 8:30.
Wait a minute, you have 2 showings?
We have
Look at you.
Look out you.
Shows.
That
yes.
is going to be...
We got a few tickets left for that general admission, so make sure you get onto our website and check it out.
Shout, you make me want to shout. Yes. I'm sorry I sang, guys. I'm sorry.
No, love it, love it.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at GMCSF's Shout Cabaret on February 6th at the West End, 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Let's welcome anchor Alex Morash. He has the best hair at the table. Look at him. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options Magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Alex, welcome back, baby. So Out in Tech, by Pridelines, LGBTQ panel of tech professionals is on February 7th. Tell me what's happening.
Thank you for having me on, Faye. You know, on Friday, February 7th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., Out in Tech and Pridelines are hosting an LGBTQ panel for tech professionals. The event, open to all ages, offers an opportunity to learn about tech careers, network, and find mentorships. Featured panelists include Adrian Cardian, CTO and co-founder of Blue Saturn, Keishawn Holloway, author and motivational speaker of Polar Diaries, and Ali Gonzalez, creative technologist and co-founder of Hello_Miami. The event is free and will take place virtually. For more details, visit pridelines.org.
Such an important event to have, right? And especially kids that are really interested in tech and in future tech jobs, to be able to speak to somebody that's already in that field. Yeah. My God, you can't pay for that kind of exposure.
No, you can't. I mean, I can't even imagine, going to school in this day and age and then having representation to go to an event like this. And there's tech LGBTQ plus people. I mean, I wish I had that when I was growing up.
For sure.
I mean, there were not a lot of mentors, in the finance and the business world, when I entered in. So it's very important, to have these type of events.
I mean, tech has always been a field that has attracted a lot of LGBTQ workforce. Consider where they came from, Silicon Valley, San Francisco.
For sure.
So, but the fact that they can get mentorship. I would attend the event.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think now's an important time for tech mentorship because there's so much volatility in the tech market. So I'd be interested to know, if I was looking at the young person, what is the future of tech jobs? And I hope that these people have good answers for that. And I have knowing Pridelines, it's always going to be a good time.
Yes,
way.
For sure. We love Edward Summers and we love Pridelines. Make sure you go on over to pridelines.org for all the information. They always have incredible events going on for our queer youth and the rest of us. So Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Out in Tech X Pridelines on February 7th. Let's welcome anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator and the founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. Bobby has also traveled the world and he brings that vast knowledge to the table, and we so appreciate it. So Bobby, the Bears of South Florida are hosting the Valentines Day weekend charity pool party at the Solstice on February 15th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, Bears. Yum. Bears of South Florida will host a Valentine's weekend charity pool party at the Solstice in Wilton on Saturday, February 15th from noon to 4 p.m. The event promises a fun-filled afternoon with food, a cash bar, and a 50-50 raffle. Tickets are priced at $35 each. The event aims to raise funds for a good cause, bringing the community together in support. Don't miss out on this exciting event for a great cause. For more details, visit BOSFL.org. And like I said, yum, bears.
I'm glad it's happening the Solstice. That's our staycations place.
Oh.
We want to get away. They like us so much they give us special deals on the Cabana room. It's right by the drive.
Oh, nice.
And that is our staycation place. We love the
We need
Solstice.
to try that out.
No,
Yeah.
the Solstice is great. I haven't been there myself, okay, but I know the owners, and it's just a perfect place for you boys to all have a great time. And the Bears of South Florida, as you know, Edward, right? William always picks like the best locations when it comes to his events, and the Solstice is top notch. And for $35, you get an awesome pool party. I mean, that it don't get no better than that.
I mean, you know, for $35 you get food and everything, and there's going to be a pool of bears.
Oh my!
There's going to be a bear
Grr!
soup. Yeah,
Oh my.
A bear soup,
Oof.
right?
Lions and tigers
Bobby
and
just
bears.
wants to be the little
my.
matzo ball inside the pool. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm the single yellow thing, round thing that's going to be popping around.
Listen, it's delicious. It's delicious. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Bears of South Florida Valentine's Weekend Charity Pool Party on February 15th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Faye, I heard a rumor that someone legendary is appearing at Sunshine Cathedral. Tell me what's happening.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, baby. Thanks to the beautiful and the talented Miss Latrice Royale. Yes, you heard me right. Latrice's brand new show will debut right here at Sunshine Cathedral. One night only, Latrice takes us back to a time when it was peace, love, and hair grease. Taking us back to the Garden of Woodstock. Diving into the astrology of it all, Latrice Royale will use her trademark wit and insight to examine her own personality traits according to the astrology. Featuring live music, lip syncing, storytelling, dance, and my favorite, the flag elements, okay? This over-the-top experience will appeal to all the senses. Gather your most far-out friends and join us where the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. This Saturday, February 8th, right here at Sunshine Cathedral Square. Get your tickets at sunshinecathedral.org. I know you're excited, Edward. I know you're excited.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, we are so blessed to have Latrice Royale in South Florida with us.
Yep.
You know, she's so busy and her husband, and it's just fantastic that we have them here locally to perform with us. You know, it's such a great time. And I've met Latrice personally, and she's such a wonderful person. And to have all that music brought to us, like, you know, that wonderful, music that's inspired from the 60s and the 70s in Broadway musicals, it's like Hair and stuff. That's just right up my alley. Her husband just did Godspell.
Christopher Hamblin.
Yes, Christopher Hamblin did last month. So that's fantastic. So it's going to be a fantastic
The
time.
age of Aquarius. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like super excited. Okay. You've worked on that stage over here at Sunshine Cathedral.
Yeah.
The acoustics are fantastic. I've seen Latrice on that same stage a couple of years back, and she takes over the whole entire place. I mean, there's flags everywhere. There is all kinds of just fun and energy. And like, I mean, it's our hometown girl. You know?
And it's talking about astrology.
And she's
too.
talking about astrology, and we were just talking about astrology before the show about how I think all the stars are aligned and Mercury in retrograde. And don't kill me, spiritualist, because I don't know all the terminology, but I know there's a lot going on. You know, Alex, we were talking about how all the stars have been aligning, and you've been looking on your little app of.
Right, and like back in 2012, I did an event with Latrice Royale, and she's such a nice person to meet and work with, and she's such a professional. Like, whatever the show is going to be, I know it's going to be a good show if Latrice is running it. It's going to be done well. She's going to have a good performance. And she's really kind to her fans and such a sweetie pie. She wouldn't remember me unless you say, didn't you work with that one weird, crazy trink that was trying to get people to come last minute into your VIP? And she was like, I'm trying to change here. Get out of here, you know? Well, she didn't. Her staff were very kind to stop it. Really absolute wonderful person. So I can't wait to see the show.
It was a great venue too. The Cathedral's Performing Arts Center, worship space, is remarkable. They can do their first show. So looking forward to that.
Well, thank you. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Aquarius with Latrice Royale on February 8th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up travel. Visit Lauderdale invites you as Florida AIDS Walk marks 20 years with music. The Florida AIDS Walk Music Festival returns on Saturday, March 15th, celebrating 20 years of impact with a beachside party. Festivities begin at 8 a.m. with live DJ performances followed by an opening program at 9:45. The walk kicks off at 10 a.m., leading into a full day of music and fun. An opener takes the stage at noon with the headliner performing at 1 p.m. The event wraps up at 2 p.m. For just $25, attendees can support HIV/AIDS services while enjoying a day of music and community. Organizers promise an unforgettable celebration. For more details, visit FloridaAIDSWalk.org. I think this is going to be like my 5th or 6th time going to the Florida AIDS Walk. I enjoy it every single year. I love to see all the incredible nonprofits of our community out there, right, doing the business. It's all the organizations in South Florida, they raise money and then AHF will match it dollar for dollar for the AIDS Walk. So it's a wonderful opportunity for organizations. A lot of organizations count on the AIDS Walk money to get through the year. So that just tells you how important it is. And now, with the new administration, with what's going on with crazy RFK and all that, we don't know where the limits will go. Well, they're threatening us with things that they might follow through with, not having more healthcare when it comes to HIV and AIDS for our community members, right? So it makes this AIDS Walk even more important this year, I believe.
It is time for us to gather our resource. The winter's coming and the squirrel got to square away the nut pile or else we might have nothing to count on. And also our local community, the city of Wilton, Manors, and Fort Lauderdale have always been very generous for the AIDS Walk. A lot of businesses sponsor their own walking teams for the AIDS Walk. One year, I think I marched with Infinity Lounge one year. And so local businesses are also chipping in, so that's very good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
In my full-time job at Broward House, we directly work with people with HIV, AIDS on a daily basis, almost 24 hours a day. Our assisted living facilities helping people 24 hours a day. I see firsthand where money helps people that are covered by grants and special cuts. So this is an more important walk for us than the past.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to people being out.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Now more than ever.
March with Team Broward House, please, and help us.
Hey, Broward,
help us keep people alive.
I love that.
AHF is one of the few, many people don't tend to be a big critic of other nonprofits. They're one of the real deals. If you're looking for what are good nonprofits, when they're involved in something like the AIDS Walks, it's a very good cause. And it's just great to see them doing that. And this also is now making me think, Bobby, that maybe we should try and get the Hotspots anchors to do their own team in the march.
Oh.
Or they can actually join the gay men's course at South Florida.
Idea.
Or join Broward House.
I'm just so proud of our organization that, we participate in this all the time, helping to raise money for the medical fields and stuff, the nonprofits that deal in that. Because, arts and culture do bring in, in an audience. And so, we definitely want to help and support, like you said, in these times where we're not sure where we might get the funds these days. So we all have to stick together in this.
100%. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Queer News Tonight executive producer Al Ferguson dives deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today.
I'm Al Ferguson, and let's queer up breaking news. Breaking news. Pride Fort Lauderdale future decided and joins Hotspots Happening Out partnership. History was made today when the board of Pride Fort Lauderdale, a nearly 50-year-old nonprofit organization, became part of the Hotspots Happening Out Media and Events Unified Nonprofit Partnership. Hotspots Happening Out will be one of the few organizations in the nation that will now host 3 major Pride events that will include June's 25th anniversary Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival in Wilton Manors, August's Diversity Pride Festival, Pride Fete, and now February's Pride Fort Lauderdale. Hotspots Happening Out is the largest LGBTQ media and event nonprofit in America, whose mission is to inform, educate, and entertain with a mission statement to support the 11 pillars of the LGBTQ community. The unified partnership of nonprofits also includes Hotspots Magazine, celebrating its 40th anniversary, Happening Out Television Network, FayWhat Show, Queer God Squad, Art Walk, and Taste of the Island in Wilton Manors, the Black Excellence Cookout, Pride Skate, Pride on the Drive, and Queer News Tonight, the world's only daily LGBTQ evening news show with 10 million viewers in 2024. Pride Fort Lauderdale has had a rocky return since COVID pandemic, and with the merge into Hotspots happening out, there is great anticipation to return the event to national prominence. Hotspots Happening Out has more than 100,000 social media followers, and Queer News Tonight is the largest LGBT nonprofit informational and educational news source on YouTube. Pride Fort Lauderdale's importance is self-evident, as it was formed in 1977, just 8 years after the Stonewall riots, and is the oldest Pride celebration in Florida. Sources told Queer News Tonight that the Pride Fort Lauderdale Executive Director position held by Ernie Huen will be folded into the new Events Division Assistant Director and given the responsibility to direct the 3 Prides and numerous smaller events of Hotspots Happening Out. Jeff Sterling, co-CEO of Hotspots Happening Out, an alliance of nonprofit organizations united in their commitment to enhancing the well-being of South Florida's LGBTQ+ community and its allies, talked about the significance of this move for the South Florida LGBTQ community. He said, quote, "We are excited to have Greater Fort Lauderdale Pride join our unified partnership. This was only able to happen due to the 25-year growth and strength of our founding alliance member, Wilton Manors Stonewall Pride. The deep organizational knowledge and dedicated volunteers of Pride Fort Lauderdale will enhance all of the events and media programs within our alliance. In exchange, we will apply all of our combined experience and assets to enhance the city of Fort Lauderdale's nearly 50-year-old pride." End quote. The news comes at a critical time for the South Florida and entire LGBTQ community because of the tremendous growth of anti-LGBTQ attacks from Tallahassee and Washington. Sterling said, quote, "Our political and social environment is challenging for minority groups, especially the LGBTQ community. Our federal and state governments are now actively removing our rights, erasing our contributions, and using the fear of government retribution to intimidate the business community and local governments to also strip us of our equality and protection under the law. Our organizations setting aside their differences and working closely together helps strengthen and protect our community from those who would strip us of our dignity as a human being. Today's news is a powerful response to these challenges." End quote. Hotspots Happening Out will be hosting many annual events through Pride Fort Lauderdale's organization. There are no details yet on where the Pride Fort Lauderdale Parade and Festival will be located, but sources tell Queer News Tonight that one of the top location picks for consideration is historic Las Olas Boulevard. Queer News Tonight will continue to update you on all of the details of this incredibly important breaking news story. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up entertainment. Queer stars rule the 2025 Grammys. The 67th Grammy Awards, hosted by Trevor Noah, celebrated a star-studded night of LGBTQ excellence. Music legends and rising queer stars graced the stage, delivering unforgettable moments. Queer ally Beyonce, already the most awarded artist in Grammy history, added another trophy to her collection. Lady Gaga, Casey Musgraves, and Charlie XCX also took home honors, while first-time nominees like Chappell Roan and Doechii made waves with their powerful performances. St. Vincent, known for her genre-blending artistry, impressed with a win. Sabrina Carpenter, fresh off her breakout 2024, continued her rise. Shakira also made a triumphant Grammy return, proving her global influence. The night wasn't just about wins, it was about representation. From the red carpet to the stage, LGBTQ voices were front and center. With boundary-pushing performances and powerful wins, this year's Grammys might just be the gayest embracing of all time. the Grammys were pretty gay. Yes, they were. I love seeing Cynthia Erivo there, right, being her queer self. I loved when Lady Gaga talked about our trans siblings. She said trans people are not invisible and music is love. I was so touched by that moment. Chapel Rowan killed it on stage. I mean, she killed it. Taylor Swift, one of my high point moments was when Taylor Swift gave Beyonce the trophy. That was such a huge and coveted moment. Beyonce had she has a million trophies, but I know how much she really wanted that one, especially the country music one that she won also last night. I mean, that's trailblazing right there.
Did you see her reaction?
She was surprised.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's just like breaking glass ceilings all over again.
Completely. 100%.
And I was just so happy that I knew most of these names. I knew a lot of these people, and like Chapel Rowan and Sabrina Carpenter. So it helps to have a 32-year-old.
I wasn't gonna mention your boo. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, he is so into current events. That's how come you know it all. So he was glued to the TV, wasn't he? He was loving it.
I absolutely loved it.
What did you boys think about, the outfits?
Oh, well, before we even get there, I'm just happy that we're talking about Taylor Swift and Beyonce without Kanye at the Grammys.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
Just in and of itself.
But you mentioned Kanye. Did you see Kanye's woman? Did you see what she was dressed in?
No.
She wasn't in anything. She was basically naked. Okay.
Oh.
She had a beige kind of cover up, but you can see her tatas. You can see her stuff.
How 1990s Marilyn Manson of him.
It was very...
how completely degrading for every woman on this planet. How about that? That's what I thought when I saw that.
I was going to say it's giving like Handmaid's Tale, like, the woman shall be unclothed and just follow her behind her man silently kind of thing.
Unfortunately, that's kind of how it looked like, though.
Yeah, and I think that's the message. That's the message you want to project. And that's not a coincidence at all.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I didn't watch it live. But I catch all the clips on TikTok because everyone just uses TikTok to catch news these days. Where Aaron Parnas is about to jump in front of me and say breaking news.
So what jumped out at you on TikTok?
So I followed this guy Chris Olsen who was at the show and he filmed a lot of like backstage live, like on the ground footage, like at the show.
Yeah.
And then there's, I saw Sabrina Carpenter doing that Marilyn Monroe 1950s thing.
That was so good.
That was cute. And then someone in 8 hours time already learned the new Lady Gaga dance from her new music video and did it on TikTok.
Oh,
I'm
already.
like, Jesus.
They waste no time.
I know.
Not the Lady Gaga Bruno Mars song, the other song.
There's an album coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gay, I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I
get it in the gay newsletter from Happening Out every day.
And also, I want to just say again, thank you, Mother Monster, for, using the time on the spotlight to call out anti-trans policies and support trans kids.
Bobby, she didn't have to do that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not that mad at her at how awful Joker 2 was. You know what I mean? And yet she still went up there and had our backs, I mean.
Shade to...
Am I lying?
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
All right. Thank you, Lady Gaga. I think that was a beautiful moment, though, for her. And she looked flawless. She looked gorgeous. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive into this big LGBTQ story for the day. I'm Robert Hadley, and let's queer up trans rights. The CDC removes trans people as they no longer exist. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has removed all references to transgender people, gender identity, and equality from its website, following new executive orders from the person living at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. HIV testing guidance for trans people and LGBTQ youth and healthcare pages were disappeared as the administration ordered federal agencies to stop promoting gender ideology, whatever that is. CDC staff were instructed to delete all web pages and any social media posts referencing trans issues. The entire trans community, even vaccine recommendations were affected with the Mpox vaccine. It's critical for some queer people. They were all removed. Additionally, researchers are instructed to retract, or edit scientific studies that use the term transgender, non-binary, and pregnant person. It's even unclear how many studies will be impacted. Critics say the changes erase vital health resources for trans and queer communities. Trans activists suggest the CDC eliminated the existence of the trans community. I gotta say, it affects me personally. my beautiful girlfriend, black transgender woman, when this came across, our house was just flabbergasted and ashamed. Not totally surprised though, because that's the policy of the new person in charge, erasing everything that's not white money order people, and trying to erase all parts of personal stories, personal lives. These are real people.
Yeah.
Trying to put them, make
them invisible.
And and why pregnant people? My gosh, where'd that come from?
Where the hell did that come from, right? Like when you were reading that, I was like, was that
actually
a typo? What the
pregnant person came from, I believe, when a trans man famously got pregnant, and I think the scientists tried to, not call him a woman, but he's a trans man who's pregnant, so pregnant person it is. It was criticized, like from J.K. Rowling and the lips of TikTok, these are people perverting the genders, blah, 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 blah. But let's face it, this CDC move, alongside many other moves, is 1984.
Yeah.
It's Brave New World. The whole thing is, do not believe the words you read on the paper, believe the word that we tell you.
Yeah.
And they're trying to erase the world of transgender people from reality itself.
And they've been around forever and always will be.
Always will be. And like you said, Bobby, like they're trying to take us back to 1985 where the president never said the word transgender, where that wasn't a part of everyday conversation. Here we are in 2025. We have trans siblings. They do exist. They live here. They have viable, beautiful lives, and
we were just talking the other day about what trans people can do. Trans people can
what can
cars.
they not do?
They can be lawyers. They can be lawyers. They can be senators. Trans people can be business owners, teachers, parents, spouses. This is what they can do is amazing, and what they do is the same.
It's also amazing just how fast this new regime's been able to dismantle our federal government. And I remind people, and I have friends that are federal employees. A federal employee had to do that action. We have to start remembering that federal employees are no longer our friend or ally. They are assisting a regime that is going to take away our democracy. And we have to remember that going forward, not just what the CDC, this is just the tip of the iceberg, what the CDC are doing to trans people. And in general, they've been taking away entire data sets. We've never seen a government act like this.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're going to start prosecuting teachers that use students' proper pronouns. Yeah. Like it is beyond normal and any sense of the word what we're watching. And this is just the latest of what a tragedy.
Today, when someone named Elon Musk's child age assistants who are going into all various computer treasury and OPM and trying to plug in their hard drives and steal data from them, someone named them and ironically put on Twitter, and he was immediately banned. And Musk said that it's criminal. It's not criminal to name employees who work for the government. That's how transparency works.
Yeah.
We always want to know the name of every bureaucrat around.
See, I fear the current government more than I fear the Chinese government affecting our elections.
Oh, the whole thing about
this is all made up.
The whole corruption thing. I mean, they're using the Chinese playbook completely. For example, they are claiming, the regime is claiming that they are rooting out corruption and greed, except that they are the corruption and greed.
Yeah.
It's opposite day.
It's upside down world. It really is. And again, them eliminating transgender and the words from CDC, I honestly think that CDC is not going to be around for much longer anyway. So why are we really, it's going to be one of the many organizations that will be dismantled underneath Trump because he doesn't think that we need things like healthcare. Like healthcare,
it's horrifying to not be able to trust the CDC anymore. How are we supposed to figure out what we want to do for our own health in the future if we can't trust the government's Centers for Disease Control?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this play before, haven't we? I mean, this is something that, we've done. They try to erase something that they don't like. But you know what? Trans people exist. Non-binary people exist. So you can't even... You can take it away from us on websites and in paper, but they're still here.
Yeah. And they're not going
they're
anywhere.
They're part of the LGBTQIAS2 plus community. So they're not going anywhere.
But the sinister goal here is not to say, just pretend that they're invisible or they don't exist. The move here to erase all of it is to basically eventually label trans people as mentally ill. They want to put it on, they want to force this issue onto DSM and then have doctors the air doctors to declare basically all trans people or non-binary people suffer from some kind of mental illness.
Okay, and we're not far behind, Bobby.
Therefore, it's easier to
that's like the 1950s with like when they used to try to, criminalize being gay. Because, exactly.
We're going in that
We're going
same
right
direction.
back.
We're going in that same direction. And that is why, Trans Day of Visibility is in March. It's March 31st. It's the same day every single year. Okay, don't listen to the crazies when they say that we tried to put it on the same day as Easter. We didn't. It's March 31st every year. Okay, but this is the time of year right now. January, the beginning of February is when you go out to Mackenzie Project. You go out to Trans Social, Trans Inclusive. You go out to SunServe. You go to any of these organizations. You say, what can I do to help? I'm not a trans person, but I sure am an ally, and I want to be here, and I want to support. What do you need me to do? Trust me, they will find something for you to do. Okay? You've got a month. That's what you need to do. All right? So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Edward Otto Zielke, and let's queer up Black community. How two white gay guys celebrate the first day of Black History Month in Wilton Manors. Black History Month has begun as the most controversial in recent history. The annual national celebration began as the White House directed all components of the federal government to eliminate recognition of Black and LGBTQ+, and any reference to race and gender. They are using the phrase called race essentialism as a new criticism of a new wave of woke attacks on minority communities. What was happening in Washington was vastly different from what was happening in South Florida. On the first day of February's Black History Month, the LGBTQ+ community had a diverse offering of celebration events. The day began with Hotspots Happening Out Cookout. That was a cooperative event with Can Community Help, Midland, and the city of Wilton Manors. The traditional cookout includes foods, music, and games for the family-friendly event. Wilton Manors read a proclamation of the importance of that day. At Pride Center at the Equality Park, the Ujima Art Awakening Project brought Black artists to visibility, complete with art, music, food, and refreshments. Across the hall, the Pride Center Rainbow Ladies and Women with Pride held a vision board party to build an art project to build a better vision of each participant. The Mackenzie Project held an important launch to Black History Month in Margate with a trans-focused project calling the Gender Affirming Resource Fair. Queer News Tonight's executive producer Al Ferguson and Out SFL's John Hayden attended February 1st events. They focused attention on how important it is and how the cis white gay community honors and supports the Black LGBTQ+ community and this month of history celebration. Al Ferguson said, quote, "Seeing these important queer Black events at this moment in history is so important. How do we celebrate and support our LGBTQ+ people of color? I think it is the most important to be a good cheerleader. Allow this community to lead and help us understand their issues and history. Our entire community is stronger when we do." End quote. John Hayden filmed the two white gay guys' experience for the first day of Black History Month.
It was an afternoon of music, fun, and food.
What do I need to dig into first?
I would say ribs.
Ribs are always the answer.
Yay!
Ribs are never the wrong answer.
Never the wrong. And check out our shirts. Unity and community, community with Legacy Builders.
Legacy Builders, the beneficiary of the 4th annual cookout presented by Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television, and Can Midland. Kicking off and recognizing Black History Month is important, but Legacy Builders LaTanya Hobson says the work must continue after February 28th.
We continue the work 365 days, and if it's a leap year, well, you already know we still continue the work every day of the year of the calendar. And you can find us, actually, John, throughout South Florida. Our next outreach event is scheduled with Can Community Health, and we will put that calendar out for the spring with our collective partners such as Trans Inclusive, positive people, Ujima, and many, many more.
Over at the Pride Center, the start of Black History Month was celebrated with the Black Art Awakening art exhibit. Also at the Pride Center, the Rainbow Ladies were having their meeting, and they spent it very creatively vision boarding for 2025.
Well, that looks like a lot of fun. And, that is so great that our community is still focused on, putting the good word out there, especially for Black History Month. And it was so great, and you always ask the question, especially me, as a white gay male, how do I support these organizations? And it's just by going to them and supporting communities like this, so it's so important. I also have to add too that for this month too, the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is doing Unbroken Voices at Sunshine Cathedral for February 27th at 8 p.m. So we're also in on the festivities too as well. So it's great when a lot of nonprofits come together and collaborate. Like
nice
that.
segue there, sir, by the way. I'm proud of you. We should be doing more. We need more events like this, right? I was there with Al and with John, and it was a great turnout. Thank you so much to Midland and Can community, and Latanya Hobson over at Legacy Builders. They're an incredible group, and like she said, they're going to come up with another event that they'll be letting us know about soon, and we will all want to be there to support that as well. JetBlue was there, and they were giving away a free trip for all you had to do was just to get tested, know your status. We want to make sure that you also know your status and you're doing that. IKEA was there with the Kids Zone boys. I mean, this is the kind of affair that you want to bring people to, you want to bring your friends to, and it was a beautiful way to kick off Black History Month. Okay, so the White House is not acknowledging it. Screw them. They don't have to acknowledge
all that food.
We'll acknowledge it.
All that food is cooked at Holy Angel's social kitchen.
And the food was delicious.
Part of that.
And the food was delicious. The food was just delicious. And Arts United, they have an art gallery. They're doing a whole Black History exhibition all month long. Seek it and you will find it. Okay, but also what Edward said, what can we do? We're a whole table of white presenting people. That's the reality, right? No one at this table can say they know what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone who is Black or a Black LGBTQ plus person, because you don't, right? So what can you do? You go to Latanya and you go, how can I help, right? You go to Legacy Builders and you say, how can I help? You go to Ujima Men's and you say, how can I help? And trust me, again, they'll put you to work. They'll put you to work. Yeah. It's just a matter of just saying, how can I support, right?
It's also support our Black-owned businesses.
Also, of course, for Black History Month, it's very important to also support Black-owned history. Everything.
There's Thursdays in the Drive, the Dairy Queen, Busy Bee Preschool, a bike shop. There's several businesses owned by Black individuals who live and have business and keep people alive in the city.
Well, and we don't
whatever city you're living in, find those businesses and support them.
Listen, everything that we've been seeing on TV the last couple of weeks has told us that it's not about mom and pop places anymore, that it's about big, huge businesses like Amazon and so. Prove them wrong. Go to these mom and pop places that need your help, that need you to come through those doors to stay alive, especially, right now. If it's Black owned, if it's LGBT owned, get in there and do something and buy something and do something.
Well, mom and pop stores too.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see Wilton Manors doing something. That we've reported on potential controversies on how Wilton Manors has handled working with the Black community. So it's nice to see them doing so much. It's nice to see, I saw two white men talk about, two white gay men specifically talking about Black History Month. And in my own experience of white gay men, I was completely horrified of where it might go, but it actually went perfectly wonderful. And it's just so nice to see that for once, so thank you guys for not embarrassing me.
As a white gay guy, right?
And the nicest thing they said is be cheerleaders. My whole job
is the same sentiments. Allyship and joining forces is now a must for any kind of minority community. We must join forces together.
Yeah.
The current regime is trying to tear us apart by putting tokens on the cabinet, by basically turning minority groups against each other, when this struggle is really socioeconomic. This is about wealth. This is about the 1% trying to become the 0.01% and leave us with the crumbs.
God. Scary times. And I think that Al Ferguson said it best, and I think Robert was going to co-sign right now in saying the best way to help is to be the best cheerleader. Let them lead the way. Right? And follow suit and say, what the hell can I do to help? I'm here. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up business. Cher is a witch burned at the stake in a hilarious new Uber Eats commercial. Pop icon Cher is wowing fans with her latest Uber Eats ad, providing once again that she's got humor to match her legendary status. The ad, inspired by her 1989 hit, If I Could Turn Back Time, shows Cher using Uber Eats to order a quote-unquote time machine. But instead of the 1980s, she lands into a 1680s village where the locals call her a witch. She states, "I'm not a witch, I'm an icon." Yes, you are, dear. She quibs just before being tied to a stake. As the villager dances in her signature black boots, the scene cuts to the present where Cher is cooking with an Uber Eats tagline, "Time machine, no? Time, yes." Speaking about the project, the singer said she loved the creativity and hilarity of the concept and joked, quote, "I sincerely hope Uber will get my boots back," end quote. A pop legend, LGBTQ icon, and now a time-traveling queen, Cher proves she's still got it. The commercial has, for now, only been seen in Australia.
If I could turn back, take me back to the 80s. Who are you? This isn't the 80s.
'Tis the 1680s.
Yeah, she's both young and old at the same time. Witch! She's a witch!
She's a witch!
I'm not a witch, I'm an icon.
Witch!
Are those my boots? This is ridiculous.
Well, not only is that wonderful, but somehow the producers of the show must have known I'm a huge Cher fan. I know, absolutely outrageous to find out in the gay community. Once again, she proves,
surprising.
Right? She still got it, like, even at her very young age of, I think it's 70 now, but whatever, she just looks amazing.
Cher is ageless.
Exactly.
At this point, the age should just be an infinity symbol.
Right? Like Prince and his symbol.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean, if a nuclear war happens, if the current regime decides to start a war with China, and all that's left is going to be cockroaches and Cher.
Oh my God. Has anybody started her book? Memoir #1?
No.
No.
Oh, it's incredible. And I can't wait for the second part. There could be 18 parts, and I would read them all because it's Cher. But let's talk about the Super Bowl. Honestly, I'm a lesbian, but not that kind of a lesbian, so I don't even know who the hell's playing. Right? But I always watch for the halftime show and for the commercials that are always so fun. I remember years past where you didn't see the commercials beforehand and you had to wait till Super Bowl day, you know? Not anymore. Now with technology and your favorite TikTok, you know, you've gotta, it's just out there.
At all of it now.
But, you know, Uber Eats has been doing some amazing ads in a couple of years, and this one, you know, follows suit. I mean, it's freaking Cher, for God's sake, you know? Another one that I'm really looking forward to is the Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan, when they're like redoing the diner scene for Manny's, for Hellman's, I believe. I'm looking forward to that, you know?
That's a classic.
I mean, and so is Hellman's.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So
but I prefer
perfect.
Duke's.
Anybody else
He's a
watching?
witch.
I watched this this video, and I had to break it down for myself because it was very interesting to have Cher wanting to go back to the 1980s and like that whole turn back time. And it's kind of like resonating with me. It's kind of like, when was it that like I thought that America was great again? I mean, like it's kind of like it's so weird how it parallels a little bit of it speaks to a little bit resonating of what the message is today in terms of like did we have it so good back then?
Right.
We could be so much better, in terms like maybe we should be looking back at like how we were persecuted. People thought people were witches back there. I mean, Cher probably could be a witch for all we know. So I wouldn't put it past her. It'd be fantastic. But back then, They were persecuted for it.
They were persecuted. Like if you wanted to sweep your home, you were thought of as a witch. If you liked cats, you were thought of as a witch. Mind you, cats helped, against many diseases and stuff like that. Yet they still burned the women at stakes, thinking that they were witches.
Yeah.
And you think of a story like that, and you go, how absurd is it? I mean, as to what we're dealing with right now,
Exactly.
There's no bizarre what's going on right now.
there isn't. We're a step away from having a pink triangle on our arms, and it's just scary times.
Make
but
witches
something
great.
like
Make witches great again.
make witches great again, right?
There you go.
But Cher will always get you out of your rut no matter what. I mean, you can't be
Exactly.
sad after seeing a commercial like this, So I look forward to the other ads. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Kendrick Lamar is going to kill it for the halftime show. I always love halftime shows because they collaborate and they bring other people in. So you always get to see more than one star.
I hope that he has a new rhyme about, the man at 1600 Pennsylvania.
You think that he will inject it into a Super Bowl halftime?
Probably. He is not
I
shy.
would love it. He's not.
He is not shy about calling people out. I mean, look at what Drake got himself into.
Regardless of
That's
that,
true.
all this talk of Cher as a witch, now I need to rewatch The Witch of the Eastwick.
That's what you got.
Or Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dr. Bobby Huen, and let's queer up drag culture. Palm Beach County drag queen Shannon Adkins' Big Momma arrested for threatening President Trump. As first reported by ABC and John Hayden, a well-known Florida drag performer, Shannon Adkins, also known as Big Momma, was arrested for allegedly making violent threats against President Trump. Adkins, a 46-year-old bakery owner in Palm Beach, was taken into custody during a traffic stop. Police say he was found with 3 baggies of cocaine and now faces felony charges for written threats and drug possession. Adkins is known for hosting drag brunches in South Florida. He is also reportedly a close friend of Casey Anthony, the infamous Tot mom acquitted of her daughter's murder. Authorities launched an investigation after a tip about Adkins' alleged social media post on January 19th, a day before inauguration, including one that was shared before saying, America needs one good bullet to be saved, end quote. Adkins allegedly admitted to the post, but insists he was just joking. He was currently under home detention with restrictions, including no social media and no contact with the first family. His $15,000 bond release come as federal charges remain a possibility. As someone in the LGBTQ community, with the kind of threats that we face every day on social media, the threats that come from J.K. Rowling, Lips of TikTok, the arranged cultists, that's the threat that he uttered is not much of a threat at all. Let's face it, it's just an excuse to arrest someone who is critical of the president.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is, this is, once again, they are copying the Chinese Communist Party playbook. Criticize Xi Jinping, off to jail you go, or re-education.
Yeah, well, listen. This story is everywhere, Bobby, right? This story, we hate, it's like, oh, you talk about South Florida when it's not in a good light. We don't want to see that kind of stuff. And it's everywhere. They're talking about Big Momma all over national news, right? People incited and did what they did on January 6th, and they were all pardoned, all of them, right? But Big Momma says something like this and is thrown in jail, right? I mean, I see both sides of it. Again, if you are going to be a loud person speaking your mind, right, and defending our LGBTQ plus community, try not to have cocaine in your pocket.
Yeah, seriously.
Allegedly.
I mean, allegedly. Excuse me. Allegedly.
I say that allegedly very strongly to remind people that in Florida, an officer was found in 2019 planting drugs on almost 300 people. So we actually should not assume, any potential jurors do not assume when a police officer says there's drugs, there are drugs.
100%.
And also, reading that to any other potential jurors, I didn't see a threat. Did you see a threat? I didn't see a threat. Someone maybe they were out of bullets that day for some unknown reason. We don't know. But in all seriousness, this looks like a political prisoner to me. And I think the West Palm Beach police and prosecutors should be ashamed of themselves, quite frankly. This is absolutely kangaroo court stuff that we've just seen today.
They're using him as an example, and they're going to take that to the fullest extent as possible. Unfortunately, Mr. Adkins, you need to get good representation, get a good lawyer, because you're going to need it. They're using you as an example as to not threaten the president, not say anything negative towards him. I mean, I feel like we're in Korea, you know, like you can't say anything negative. You know, in Cuba, if you said something negative about Castro, your neighbor would go and rat you out, you know, and would get some extra food for it. You know, I feel like we're close to something like that happening, and it just gives you a pain in your gut.
I mean, there's better ways to, you know, express how distraught you are about, you know, the people who are leading this world, you know, than making threats on social media. And I think that's what it kind of boils down to. Yes, it's very extreme that what they're doing, but like you've said, this is just the example for all of us to see. And that's why it's being pushed on us. That's why we're seeing a lot, because they want us to see what could possibly happen if you do something like this. So yeah, we do have to be very careful and being mindful and educate people that if you are frustrated, this isn't the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're frustrated and if you don't like what 1600 Pennsylvania is doing, do not throw bullets, throw shade. Make fun of them. They are thin-skinned, egotistical creatures who are basically narcissists, textbook narcissists.
The problem is this particular statement was not a direct threat. It was clearly a joke.
Yeah.
And when you start arresting people for that, how do we know where did that line end?
Exactly.
Well, that's
where does that go next?
It's a fine line because it's up to the interpreter.
The thing that we have to start accepting is, if we are going to be willing to criticize the government, you have to be willing to understand that there are going to be consequences. Now, I understand that might happen to me. Other people need to start accepting that, like, if this is how our government's going to act, that's how it's going to go. So just be ready and
be ready.
We need to say it's okay. Like, we should be turning this person more into a hero than a villain.
And as sad as it sounds, Meta and Facebook does not belong to you. Just because you're able to say and it, you know, has your name on it as and your cute little profile picture, it belongs to them.
And it's stamped there for life. So when you say something, even years ago, people can go back and see what you've said. So, you know, this is how they'll start to get people. They'll go back into your time frame and say, oh, you said that in 2019. You said that during that. Then they're going to start targeting you. So you got to be very careful and make sure.
Twitter used to take down what they perceived as a violent threat up until Elon bought it.
And now he encourages it actively.
And now he encourages it. Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and allied community.
If your community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation in your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television station in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight. I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat? And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Robert Hadley, Edward Otto Zielke, Alex Morash, and Dr. Bobby Huen. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and queer. Good night.